Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here on Friday the 26th of June, and this is your look ahead video. Bit of a ramble for you today, so bear with me. Just going to whiz through several things here. Kicking off first of all, just showing what's going on at the moment, where we're going to be getting our heat from over the next week, because as you know, things are going to be hotting up. We've got some very warm weather coming in. This is the position at the moment, 500 millibar flow from the weather website. There's the jet stream coming in across the Atlantic. Look, you see a little bit of a ridge here built across the UK, but just watch what happens as I just run the sequence through, and you'll notice over the coming days, look, there's the time in the top right hand corner. Watch what happens into next week. There's the buckling of the flow. Look, there's the ridge building in, and just watch what happens as the trough deepens out in the Atlantic in here. Look at the corresponding build in the ridge as the ridge becomes attenuated across the UK. And notice as I run the sequence through, look, even more so there. This is just this pumping up of warm air coming in from the continent, builds the heights, builds high pressure out here off towards the east of the country. But of course, as we know, it's not exactly looking like it's going to last, because as time goes on, the ridge builds off towards the east, but this Atlantic air here tries to drive in, cutting off the ridge, and eventually gives us this omega shape here in the ridge, which builds the pressure here at the surface off towards the east, but has the potential to put the British Isles on the wrong side of that heat, because eventually the GFS saying that the Atlantic will win through and we'll find more of a mixed, fresher southwesterly flow blowing through the country. Now, of course, you have to bear in mind that the GFS always wants to go back to that sort of flow, but the overall pattern seems to be one of being drier early next week, the heat gradually building, and then breaking into thunderstorms late on in the week and into the early part, potentially, of next weekend, before the real fresher hit of weather comes through into the week after. Looks a fairly reasonable solution to me. Now, the 7 to 10 day mean of the 500 millibar flow looking like this. We've got the ECMWF on the left here. We've got the GFS on the right. Both of them, look, have got the trough in the Atlantic, ridge off towards the east there and there. This is the prediction from next Friday to Monday the 6th. They're actually both in fairly good agreement with each other that that's the way this is going to go, and that we are going to be in for this heat wave next week, but that it is relatively short-lived with the corresponding breakdown as we've just seen. Now, the CFS is flipping and changing all the time at the moment, from one run to the next. It can't quite decide on how to nail things down. For example, this is the week 4 from yesterday, running from the 16th of July to the 22nd of July. And notice that it got high heights here across the UK during that period. Now, today's corresponding week 4 looks like that. So what it's trying to do here is build the heights, yes, down towards the south here, but it's got low than normal heights towards the north. Look, keeps us more in a west to northwesterly pattern. So certainly a big difference between the two, between the idea of higher pressure building and one of just higher than normal heights across the south. Now, either way with these patterns, southern parts of the UK would be in dry conditions, but the north would always be suffering more from outbreaks of rain coming in from the Atlantic. However, the guys that we really need to be watching right now, and really could be saying to the CFS, eat your heart out, are the Chinese Met Agency, because this is the forecast they produced at the end of May. Okay, so this is 25th of May, and this was valid for the period the 15th to the 24th of June, so the period that we're in now. Now, you have to twist your head round, admittedly, but there's the Greenwich Meridian through there, and you can just see the British Isles underneath there. Okay, so take a look at that pattern. Look what they got. Trough out in the Atlantic, building ridge off towards the east. So that was what was predicted a month ago. Now take a look at the means of the 500 millibar flow anomalies for the 15th to the 22nd, because we've only got data going up to the 22nd. And just look, there's the trough, there's the ridge, trough across Europe. Okay, so let's just go back again, take a look at that. There's the Beijing forecast. Look what they got. Trough, ridge, trough. Everything shifted, yes, a little bit further towards the, or shifted a little bit further towards the west, as it turns out, but that overall pattern they basically nailed. So I think that this shows us something about the Chinese model. It's why I've been showing you more and more recently over recent months, is that the algorithms, the methods that they're using within the model seems to lend itself to less flipping than we see on the CFS. So what are they predicting? Well, you know that I was going for the idea of these mixed conditions through July lasting until around the 15th, 16th, and I said watch the period 15th to the 20th for the start of a build of pressure and more settled conditions. Well, this is their prediction for the 16th through to the 25th, and look here, let me try that again. Look, we've got trough through the UK, ridge off towards the east, ridge off towards the west. Now, that would be unsettled conditions during this period across the UK, but notice what happens at the end of the month. This is the 26th of July through to the 4th of August. Building ridge out here in the Atlantic, look, trough across central parts of Europe, and the high centred in there. So it certainly lends itself to those, and as you can probably hear, Freddie the Weather Wolf likes that idea of the high pressure as well. So there's the high. Showing signs of building in. So I think what we've got to take from this at the moment, and I know there'll be those of you who get in touch and say, oh, well, you said around the 15th and 16th high pressure will build in. And then when it doesn't build in, you seem shocked that it doesn't build in on exactly the days that I'm saying. You've got to give the story time to develop, and it does change. And according to the Chinese model here, it puts that high in later. So it's building the high in a little bit later during the month. So, you know, then we shift that 15th to 20th to nearer the 20th when the high is going to build in. And perhaps it comes back to the CFS. Perhaps that's more what it's going to be like around those sort of dates, that the high pressures do build. But I think what we've got to go with is the idea that somewhere during that second half of July, pressure is going to build, the high will come in, and it will probably be there perhaps for 5, 6 or 7 days, which is great news for farmers who I know are watching, because that's when we can get some sort of focusing on hay. Okay, going to leave you with that for now. But thanks again for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great day. Don't forget, at the moment, I'm asking you for your feedback on the video, what you like and what you don't like about it, what you'd like to see more of. As you know, I've told you I'm building the premium website just at the moment, so we want to make sure that we include the stuff on there that you're interested in and more of what you want to see. So please just use the contact form at weatherweb.net to get in touch and let us know. At the moment, the site's kept completely free of charge by the adverts that you're seeing around the screen here, so thanks for your continued support. Okay, I'll leave you with that for now, but whatever you do, have a great day. Thanks again for watching, keep the sun shining, and bye for now.